For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Start. Welcome everybody to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host Tom Quiet, and we are back at it with another live and amplified livecast. I'm sitting here in Waco, Texas. Just got off work, and we have another great guest, two guests actually lined up for you. We have Proud Miranda from Tampa, Florida. How's it going today?
Hey, thanks for having us, Tom.
Yeah. It's been a long time in the works. I know we've been talking roughly, I want to say, for about a year trying to get something figured out. And then this just kind of fell into the ether of things we were going to try and experiment with. And it's what got us to do something together.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally got to work it out.
The stars aligned.
Yeah.
Exactly. And well, I mean, I was a little apprehensive because initially, who did I text? It was you, Amanda, I believe, a little bit ago. And I was originally like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it back in time. And then all of a sudden my boss walked into the office and was like, hey, you can leave. Like, we're done for the day. And I'm like, oh, well, they just told me I had like another hour and a half worth of work. And she's like, no, I talked to him. You're good. So I was like, all right, cool. Ignore the text. So, but luckily it all worked out and we're good to go. So that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, you accommodated our time zone. We appreciate it.
I mean, that's the other thing is it's like trying to make the time zone thing work. Like we've been working with people from like New Zealand and Australia, and that's like a 17, 18, sometimes 19-hour time difference. So that makes things really interesting.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Especially when I got to try and book it because they'll say, hey, can we do Tuesday at 2? And it's like, all right, let me do some math here.
Yeah. Well, what exact time is that?
Yeah. But, hour difference, it's nothing. We got it.
We got it going on here.
Yep. And I mean, considering that I was in Tallahassee for a while, so I knew all that. So we're golden.
Yeah, you were used to Florida time.
Yep, exactly. So let's take this minute and have you guys introduce yourselves and what you guys do in the band, what instruments and all that fun stuff.
Awesome. So my name is Kate, and I play guitar, and I sing for Proud Miranda.
And my name's Amanda, and I play drums, and I sing a little bit.
You sing?
I sing.
You sing plenty. We both sing. We both sing.
Nice. And what got you started in music?
Initially for me, with guitar, my dad, he got me really into music. A lot of the music that I love, I owe to him for introducing me, and he got me my first guitar when I was 12, and it's been like that ever since.
Great.
Yeah, for me, I've always been really, really obsessed with music. And when I was about 14 or 15, I picked up a bass for the first time. And that was kind of my primary instrument until about a year ago. I picked up the drums for Proud Miranda.
Nice. And what, I guess the bass is kind of an interesting first instrument. What prompted you to pick up the bass?
I wasn't allowed to get drums.
Oh. Fair enough. Yeah, because when I was younger, that was the one thing I wanted to learn how to play. My mom's like, nope, you can
The
go play.
drums?
yeah, I wanted to learn how to play the drums. And she's like, no, you can go play the trumpet. And I'm like, oh, that's not as fun, but you know, it is what it is. So, who are some of your musical influences?
We have a lot of overlap. We both love like 90s alternative rock, like Nirvana and Hole and Bikini Kill, the Breeders, the Pixies.
Pixies, yeah.
But I also like a lot of chiller stuff, like Tristan Prettyman and Mary Lambert and those kind of more softer artists. I love their lyrics and their kind of vibe.
Yeah, so I feel like those are kind of where we meet in the middle, and that's definitely what influences our band and like the songs we write.
Cool. And speaking of the songs that you write, what's kind of the creative process when you sit down to write a song?
It kind of is all over the place. We both write lyrics, and we both will kind of come up with melodies. So either Kate will write some lyrics and kind of have a melody with it and her guitar parts, and then I'll throw on the drums and kind of maybe we'll restructure the song a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely both each one of us might come up with the initial idea, but every song is gonna like go through both of our lenses, and we like are super equal with the songwriting process like that.
Yeah, it can come from a drum pad or the guitar riff, however, but yeah.
Now, do you guys usually like to have a riff or a like music first and then write to the music, or do you usually make the music to like some lyrics that you're already?
It's usually like just a melody in my head, and then just trying to figure out like how to make that into real life on the guitar. Mm-hmm. And then the lyrics will come after that. I think the music is really important to have that foundation before the lyrics, because trying to write music after you already have the lyrical formation, it's just, I don't know, it can be kind of difficult.
It's funny because I can be a little opposite in that, where I will I'll write lyrics and realize that they accidentally have a melody with it, and I'll just kind of like hum it out, and then Kate does magic and makes it a song on guitar.
And where are you guys at writing wise right now? Are you constantly writing? Are you working towards an album, or where are you guys at currently?
Yeah, we are actually currently working on an album.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and what's that process kind of been like?
So far, so good. We just recorded our first 3 songs. It's going to be a 10-song album. So we tracked the first 3 with Nathan Doyle at Voyager and Clearwater. So we just got the rough mixes back from those yesterday, and they're sounding awesome. So we're going to put out a single from that batch, and then we'll go and record the next 3 or 4 songs in a couple of months, and then we'll do the last batch, and then we'll probably release the album in the fall.
Okay, cool. And will this be your first full album, or have you released previously?
Yeah, it'll be our first full length. We have a 5-song EP out. Mm-hmm. But this will be our first full length. Cool.
And how did recording the EP help you prepare for recording a full length?
It was actually, I'm glad you asked that, because we recorded the EP at the same studio where we're recording this album with the same producer, but we're doing it really differently. Like, we recorded the EP all live. We just, we got, the vocals, the drums, the guitar all down. And now this time we really wanted to like push ourselves more and like record tracks separately and record like the vocals separately. And I feel like we got like recording the EP gave us a lot of ideas for like how we want to grow and like, you know, stretch ourselves a little more.
Yeah. We still tracked the guitar and drums live, but we did some overdubs this time with vocals and guitars and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. And you said this new album you're hoping to release in the fall?
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm assuming you guys will do like a little mini tour or something to support it, or have you not gotten that far yet?
Yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
But I think that like a nice southeastern tour would be a good idea.
Yeah, at least a couple of weekenders.
Yeah.
Exactly. And are you guys full-time musicians, or do you have like day jobs to support the music habit?
I work full-time. I'm an accountant.
Okay.
And I recently left my job in social work a couple of months ago and have been doing a bunch of gig work. And my main job is actually kind of turned into cat sitting. So that's super awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so how do you kind of balance the music with the full-time job, especially with the two of you?
It's you know, it's definitely hard, and like one of those things you kind of have to constantly like make sure you're on top of, not like overbooking or overworking, overtaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure my job wouldn't like this, but you know, music definitely takes priority.
Yeah.
So if I need to take a mental health day from work just to kind of work on some music, I might do that.
Yeah, I got you. Well,
Your own.
They're not listening.
That's funny. So what's one thing that you would like people to know about your music if they've never heard you play before? What's something you want them to know about your music?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think that I would want them to know that we are, damn. No, we're just like here. We're like loud and raw and we don't care. We just want to do what we want to do.
I got you. That's cool. And I saw you guys recently just did a Tampa session.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was so fun. That was a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What was that process? Was that because I know they primarily just focus on Tampa artists and people in the area, correct?
Yeah, from what I've seen, it definitely is. Yeah, Tampa, St. Pete.
Yeah, I don't know if they have touring people come through there or not. I saw them have a chef on there the other day. That was new.
That
was cool. Yeah.
Cooking?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. That's
cool.
That's different. That's out there. And so what was the how did you guys get involved with that? Did you know the people that do it, or how did you kind of get involved with that whole thing?
Our friends in this band called the Drainouts were on there, and it just looked awesome. So we reached out, and he booked us on there, and that day happened to be New Year's Eve, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you guys filmed on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Oh,
it went live on New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It was a really cool experience. The guy Joe who does it just made it super. It was just a really welcoming environment to play. Like you just felt really comfortable, and
yeah, Joe couldn't be nicer, and he had a guy there helping him out with the cameras who was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Great. Yeah, because I've seen a few of his other videos, and they're definitely really good quality, and so I can only imagine. And I've never heard anything negative about the people, so that's awesome that you guys got to get on there and have that experience.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of my favorite things that we've done as a band.
for sure.
Nice. And so for the people that don't know, what's the independent music scene like in Tampa?
It's pretty booming around here. There's so many great bands, super, super talented people, lots and lots of venues all around Tampa and St. Pete. I mean, they're closing as much as they're opening, but there's always like really cool house venues and a lot of promoters around here that are actually like decent to work with, and it's great.
The bands
and
here
so
are
too.
absurdly talented. There's just absurdly talented bands. It's so fun to just be able to go to see like such top tier shows so close to home.
Yeah, that's so much so that before we started recording, we were talking about Gasparilla Music Festival and how it's pretty much like half the lineup is local Tampa, St. Pete bands.
Yeah,
I know, it's awesome because they are so good and so strong.
Yeah, we definitely worked with our fair share of Tampa bands, and they were all amazing. So I can only agree with the sentiment that all the amazing Tampa bands.
Yeah.
Are both of you from Tampa, or did you move to Tampa from somewhere else?
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And Amanda's from Tennessee. And but we both are like, moved into the area around like high school.
I moved here at 10 actually. I beat you. Huh.
Okay. She moved here when she was 10.
Okay. And so I'm assuming you guys still have, or your family still lives in Tampa, like both your families. Nice.
Yeah. Got some family in Pennsylvania, and some here.
Okay. Perfect. And one thing we really like to do on the podcast and just Live and Amplified in general is try and bring some value to the younger musicians, give them some advice, make sure they have a firm grasp of reality as far as what to expect when coming into the music or when trying to pursue music professionally. What advice do you have for younger musicians?
I want them to know that they need to stay true to their vision, to have a really strong artistic vision, and not listen too much to other people's input when it comes to that, but definitely take advice when it comes to how to handle the industry, have a lot of respect, pay attention, and tip the bartenders, be nice to everybody on the same bill, be really respectful to venue owners.
Yeah, that's awesome, love.
What was the best piece of advice you've ever received?
It's so funny. When you try to think of positive things, it's kind of hard sometimes, but but if I could think of 10 negative for one positive.
Oh man, my Aunt Leslie gave us some really great advice. She lives in New York. She's an actor, and she told us, because she kind of applied getting gigs to getting auditions and getting roles and stuff. Yeah. And she said to just say yes to everything and just really embrace and just embrace the opportunities you get. And it's led to some of the most fun times. We've played in some really interesting venues. What are some weird venues we've played in?
Oh man. A couple of house shows are coming to mind that were pretty cool, but
didn't we play somewhere insanely bizarre?
We played a roller derby rink.
It was a roller derby rink.
That wasn't
that bizarre. I thought it was weird.
Super cool though.
Nice. That's awesome. I guess I guess roller derby rink would make sense to do a show in though.
Yeah, it turned out to be really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Right in the center of the rink, they had the bands.
Nice.
Yeah.
They have the like roller derby going on around it, or no? Is it?
Oh no, they didn't. We were in the track and it was like around us, but yeah, they didn't have any roller derby going on.
I was gonna say that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah,
that would be.
I wish it was happening.
I feel like I'd be really distracted trying to play the drums, so I'd be like trying to watch what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. Since you guys are in the middle of recording an album, what should younger musicians know before going into the studio?
Spend a lot of time, practicing the songs and sharpening them, because like the last thing you want to do is go into a studio and spend your time that you're paying for like learning your parts there. Yeah. It's kind of like a waste of your time and the people working on the album's time, and
waste of money.
Big
totally
time.
Yeah,
big time. And also to take input, take advice, listen to what a producer is telling you, and don't be too narrow-minded and not able to take advice, because that could really help open up your sound.
Yeah, and I think learning at least a little bit about the production, a little bit about what goes on in the mixing and stuff like that, so you can have an opinion and kind of guide more of what your sound is going to be like.
And I think the other thing that kind of gets overlooked is do your research into who the producer or technician is.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Good point.
But it's all like a huge learning curve, and I mean I've known people that walk into a studio first thing and they just knock it out of the park and consider it dumb luck, and and then sometimes they have those negative experiences. And
yeah, it is. It's really weird. There's so many different factors. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. One question I do have, and how did you guys come up with the name Proud Miranda?
We were watching the show Sex and the City, and it's about 4 best friends living in New York, and there's one of the characters' name is Miranda, and she's the one who speaks her mind, is kind of a bitch, is super sassy, and we were just saying oh man, we feel like Mirandas, we're proud Mirandas, and then
it was that's gotta be a band name.
Called it.
Nice. That's really good.
Yeah, we held on to that for a few months until we started to do this. We're it's Proud Miranda.
Yes.
The moment is here.
Yeah. And how long have you guys been playing together?
2 years. Yeah, we played together in a band before.
Okay.
Where our friend was drumming and Amanda was on bass and I was guitar. And then this is the second project we've done together where it's guitar and drums.
Okay. Perfect. Before you guys started playing together, had either of you been in a band previously?
I have been in, when you are in bands with your friends, you never actually play a gig, so I wouldn't count it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the closest thing, and playing open mics, that's the closest thing I'd ever gotten to experience.
Okay.
And not me at all. That last project was my first band. I had put my bass down and any instruments down really for probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years before I met Kate, and still had them and moved around with all these instruments, a couple of basses, or a bass, a guitar, ukulele, all this stuff. And she really encouraged me to actually pick them up and start playing them. So I was always I'm going to suck at them, because I would get really caught up in wanting to play covers, and then I wouldn't be able to figure them out. And it was,
just gotta play for yourself.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And once I started doing that, now it's all kind of easier.
It was all downhill from there.
Nice. And then how would you kind of describe what are your shows like, or what can people expect from a Proud Miranda show if they're looking to come to one for the first time?
We definitely try to make it like an inclusive environment. We want everyone to feel really welcome at our shows, like it was their own home. Mm-hmm. And our lyrics and the subject matter, we can get really raw and emotional, and I would want people to be prepared for things to get maybe a little real.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's to be expected, because like I've heard in several situations that music is very much therapy for the musicians, but it could also be kind of like therapy for the people there listening to it. So yeah, no, I definitely understand.
Yeah, I think that's really true.
So I'm going to ask you guys some really random questions. Just, it's something kind of fun, different that we've been doing lately. And they're when I say random, I mean random questions.
Cool.
All right.
Let's do it.
Pineapple, does it belong on pizza?
Hell
no.
Thank you.
Good.
Guilty pleasure song you're jamming to right now?
Bitch by Meredith Brooks.
Oh man. Like a lot of 90s country songs, like Garth Brooks, Friends in Low Places.
Oh, hey, I mean, that's actually not the worst song in the world.
No, I think it's great. It's great. It's just different than my normal music I'm bumping.
A little guilty.
A little guilty.
Have you ever sent a text message to the wrong person?
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah. What's your signature dance move?
I like doing like finger guns.
Like fake two-stepping.
Yeah.
I guess that'd be what I do, right?
Fake two-stepping. you two-step. You Dougie.
Is that kind of like the what's the thing that the dude from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the Carlton? Is that kind of like the fake two-step?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay.
That she is straight up Carlton.
That's so I can only wow. I just had it. Where'd it go? If you were a pair of shoes, what kind would you be?
Adidas. Ooh, I'm surprised about that.
Adidas. Converse, like Chuck Taylor's.
Would you rather be a hobbit or an elf for 24 hours?
Elf, they're cute.
No, like in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen it.
Would you rather be like Orlando Bloom or Elijah Wood?
Oh, Elijah Wood, he's so cute.
Yeah, I would like to be a hobbit too. Like, I feel like their lives are a lot more chill. They just they're like more relaxing.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, it's just a hot dog.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, thank you.
I have no shop.
And last one, what is something you refuse to share?
Ooh.
Oh,
my life. Just kidding.
I don't like to share food. I do not think it's appropriate for people to steal my food or ask for it.
You steal my food all the time.
Well, I'm more hungry.
Are we accusing somebody of being a little bit of a hypocrite?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that went off really well. I'm glad we did that segment again.
Yes, that was fun.
So we've been talking a lot about what you guys are currently working on and what you guys have done in the past. What's the ultimate goal? Where do you see yourselves taking Proud Miranda?
Wherever it takes us. So not really a plan, just kind of going with it.
We want to have longevity. We want to be able to do this until we're 100.
Okay. I can dig it.
Yeah.
What's the have you guys done like a traditional, quote unquote, traditional tour, or is that something you're still working towards?
It's definitely something we're still working towards. We're gonna be playing our first couple of out of state shows in Georgia. We're gonna in June.
Okay.
So that'll be like our first time out of state. So that I think that's kind of like the first step to dip our toes in before doing something a bigger tour.
Gotcha. Where are you guys playing in Georgia?
We have a show in Valdosta and then in Atlanta.
Okay. Valdosta is actually a cool little town. It's bigger than people think, but it's still really cool. Cool spot.
Oh, nice. I've never been. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I always just remember it as we're almost to Florida. We're just we're just about there.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how I got introduced to it. And then when I moved to Tallahassee, I was like, oh, I actually live near Valdosta now. Let me actually go see what it's about, because
That's fun.
It was always the place that we took the bypass to get to Florida. We bypassed Valdosta.
Yeah.
But, so where's one place that you guys would really like to play, like say in the next year or so, like a city, state, or venue, however you want to interpret the question?
I'd like to play anywhere in Asheville, because I just want to go there again to go hiking, and it's such a cool, very, very creative, inspired little town. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to play in Portland. I just feel like it would be great.
Nice. You said Portland, right? Like in Oregon?
Oregon, not Maine.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd go to Maine. Maine's cool. It's very far though.
Not
Too
Maine.
cold. Not Maine.
I mean, that is kind of far north, but I mean, I guess Portland, Oregon is as well.
Even farther.
Yeah.
I want to play in Brooklyn too.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Actually, you know what? That would be really cool. Like, but I've heard it's really hard to get around New York, especially if you're not from there.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
But, you know, that's just another not New Yorker hearing things about New York.
Yeah, it would probably, I'd probably get lost.
Yeah.
You get around it right there.
But I would really like to go to the Bronx, just because you hear all the stories about the Bronx, and it's like, you know what? I just kind of want to go see what it's about, you know?
Yeah, just to see.
Just to see Jenny from the block's block.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where Jay was born and raised.
That was my sister's nickname all through high school. It was quite funny. And it was
my God.
madly annoying. Like anytime one of her friends would see her, it was, oh, hey, what's up, Jenny from the block? And it's like,
oh my God.
even like the whitest neighborhood ever. Come on, guys. Let's not.
What block?
Exactly. But, you know, it is what it is. When you're 17, 18, you say stupid stuff.
High school nicknames are so funny.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't want to bring the energy of the interview down too much, but this is something that I do want to talk about, and it's the importance of mental health with musicians. What's your kind of stance on the importance of mental health and stuff of that nature?
I think that the importance of mental health awareness is super, super important, and getting rid of the stigma is super important. I myself am bipolar and suffer from some pretty crippling anxiety. And there was a time where I was really like embarrassed to admit that, because it's just, you know, there's always been such a stigma about it. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, I think that, you know, the younger generation coming up, some of the old mean dinosaurs dying off, I guess is a bad way to put
the
it.
new
It's
kids
just,
are so nice.
they're so good. Yeah, I just feel like the world's becoming a lot more positive and accepting, and I'm hoping it only goes up from there, because mental health is just as important as physical health.
Absolutely, and people need to be listened to and taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And luckily, it seems like the two of you kind of have each other as a good support structure. So if one of you is having a down day or a bad day, just from like this interview, it seems like you guys have each other's backs.
100%.
Yeah, like a good therapist said, don't go crazy at the same time.
Yep.
All right, that's another good one. And so, like I said, I don't want to not dwell. I don't want to sit on this too much, but the one thing that I really want to get across is the importance that even like specifically with musicians, I feel like mental health should be an extra priority, because you're making yourself so open on a nightly basis. Every time you perform, you're pouring your heart on the line, and then also the scrutiny of like social media and all that stuff.
Those are both really, really huge causes of anxiety and big drains on mental health. I think you're dead on. Yeah, the vulnerability of opening yourself up, and then also just the environments that you're in, a lot of bars and a lot of late nights. It's important to have that balance of self-care to balance out like late nights in a bar.
Yep.
Like you want to take care of yourself on your off times.
Yep. And it's important to make sure you have the support structure that's there for you, so you don't have to turn to the alcohol or drugs or whatever other substances may be out there.
Yeah, and it's also when musicians stick together, and that's something that I really feel in the Tampa community is like people are very open about talking about mental health, and the musicians that we know are like all really, really supportive of one another and like really willing to talk about the deeper stuff.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any like, since you guys haven't really left the I don't want to call it a safety net, but the area of Tampa and South and Central Florida in general, do you have any concerns about traveling out and exploring new areas?
No, I'm just excited.
Yeah, I think the only thing that is like a deterrent is just having a full-time job, but you know, I'm determined to work around that, and I think that we just kind of have to take on a more slow and steady pace, because I can't take off a bunch of time all at once. And so we kind of want to like just tackle the world with mini tours, mini trips.
Cool. That makes perfect sense as well. Obviously you weren't playing music before you moved down to Florida, correct? Is that a safe?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any aspirations of like taking your band to Pennsylvania and Tennessee and being like, hey, look at me type?
Yeah, I think that would be so much fun. Like play Philly and Nashville. Yeah, that would be really fun. Feel like a full circle.
Yeah. I mean, because I know you'd mentioned that you have some family back from where you're from.
Yeah, my dad and his whole side of the family live up in Pennsylvania.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. I'm gonna ask a very vague question, but I'm gonna word it, or it's vague because I want to kind of see where you guys will take the answer and how you will interpret it. but why music?
I feel like music kind of goes beyond like words. Well, even though, you know, there's words in it often, it just kind of goes beyond so many other ways of expression. And I feel like it's just a way to connect. And I've just always gotten so much from listening to music my whole life that playing it just makes so much sense. And I've always like daydreamed about being able to play in front of people. So I'm just super, super stoked to be doing it.
Do you remember what the first song was that you heard that was kind of like, oh, hey, I really connected, like that touched you more than just like, oh, hey, that's a cool song, that like really moved you to become either, whether it was become a better musician or pick up an instrument in the first place? Do you remember a specific?
Yeah. When I was younger, I think the song Scarborough Fair by Simon and Garfunkel, that was like the first time I was just really, really so into a song that I wanted to know like everything that went into it, and like wanted to write a bunch of songs that sounded just like it.
I love that. The first one I really remember was Pat Benatar. I think the song is called Heartbreaker. But
yes, it is.
That song just intrigued me so much. My mom's best friend when I was like 4 or 5 gave me my first cassette, and it was the Pat Benatar cassette with that on it. Oh, nice. I loved her.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then when you guys aren't playing music, what are you doing?
Oh man, when are we not playing music?
Just like watching reality TV.
Yeah, we watch a lot of reality TV. We're obsessed with Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Vanderpump Rules. We just started watching all of the old Jersey Shore episodes. That's a huge guilty pleasure.
Nice.
We go hiking as much as we can too.
Nice. The beach
to get some sun.
You make me go to the beach.
I love the beach.
It's
well,
fine.
You guys are in Florida. Isn't that kind of a thing you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
People hate the beach that live in Florida, but I don't know. I still love it.
It's fine.
Yeah. I had a hard time. I had a hard time going to the beach when I was living, because before I moved to Tallahassee, while I was kind of jumping between jobs after college, my parents lived just about an hour north of West Palm. And so I was staying with them for a little bit. And this was during like the whole Okeechobee waterway and the algae blooms that come out during the summer.
Terrible.
Yeah. And so I got myself really active in that whole scene, like all the protests and all that fun stuff. And I had a really hard time going to the beach ever because I saw so many people come back with like rashes and all the disgusting stuff.
Yeah, that's horrifying. Definitely would deter me from going to the beach, for sure.
But, you know, it is, and then up in Tallahassee, I just never went. Like it always seemed like the water was cold or not conducive to swim.
Yeah, I lived in Tallahassee for a little bit, and there's like definitely no worthy beach to go to, but Wakulla Springs is awesome. They've got a lot of cool stuff like that there.
Nice. And you've brought it up a couple times that you like to go hiking.
Yeah.
Was that just something that you've always been into, or what kind of brought that on?
Yeah, definitely. I've always loved to just be outside in nature. When I was a little kid, that's the number one thing I wanted to do, is just like ramble around in the woods and try to like make little forts.
Nice.
So yeah, there's not a lot of great hiking in Florida. we have a couple of parks that are fun to go to around here, but I want to try to play places that are also cool hiking places like North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia, and all that stuff to try to sneak some more hiking in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The hiking tour.
Yes.
That would be cool.
It's just
Actually,
the best thing.
There's actually a kind of a cool place that down on the old Alligator Alley. I guess it's called Tamiami Trail or something like that.
Okay.
There's like there's a couple of old or like rest stops where you pull off, and there's actually like a bridge that'll take you back into the Everglades. It's actually kind of
I'd be scared of snakes for that. They have those crazy huge snakes that people just like let loose down there.
Oh yeah, that's another huge thing. But,
yeah.
No, actually, this wasn't that bad because you were still like a couple feet, like I'd say probably good 3 or 4 feet up above like where the water level was and stuff. But I discovered it because at the time I was really into playing Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah, I remember when that came out.
And they had a Pokestop back there, and I was just like, I gotta get it. Walking
that
a mile.
game was good for getting people out and exercising and stuff like that, and probably good for businesses too. There's like those Pokestops everywhere.
Yep, that is true. But have you guys see there? I keep reading this article that there's like a slash some kind of rainforest thing in like Gainesville. It's like a little slab of like a forest preserve that has like the same effects as a rainforest would.
Oh, have you heard anything about that?
That's beautiful. No, I haven't. That sounds wonderful.
Whenever I would come through, I always wanted to stop, but I could never find the article to find out where it was at.
I'm gonna try to look into that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah. And I think it was Gainesville. It had to be somewhere right around there, but
it's Gainesville. Taylor will know.
Yeah, there is a really neat state park there, or I'm not sure what it is. It's like it's a botanical garden.
Okay.
Maybe it's there.
That very well could be, because I saw a picture of it and it was like you went down these steps and it was like a really cool, I don't want to say, it was like the effects of a rainforest. Like you go back down in there and it's like looked really nice, and every time I drove through and I was like ready to go see what it was about, could never figure out where it was at, or I couldn't find the article to tell me, hey, dum go over here, you know.
Yeah.
But so as we kind of start wrapping this up, because I don't want to occupy too much of your time, because I know it's already getting to be pretty late over by you guys, and don't want to.
Yeah, we're old, getting past our bedtime.
I wasn't going to say that, but you know, what's the upcoming schedule looking like? Do you have any local shows coming up? And
yeah, Kate, you keep very good mental track of our calendar. I'm pretty bad at it without looking at it.
Yeah. So the weekend of the 14th, we have a show, the record store in St. Pete, Daddy Cool.
Okay.
They have a second Saturday market.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's awesome.
So we're gonna play that, and then we have there's gonna be a fun house show. And
yeah, that's on the 15th. And then our Red Star show, we're playing Red Star Rock Bar in Ybor.
Okay.
The 21st?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's not a super, super loaded up month. I'm pretty actually happy about that. Sometimes we kind of overtax ourselves a little bit. So we're trying to kind of be a little bit more scaled back, I guess, to give ourselves a little bit more breathe in time.
Nice. And what's your favorite song to perform when you guys do play a live show?
Oh man, it really changes a lot. We write pretty frequently, and when you get a new song down, that's pretty exciting. So I'll usually have one of our new songs as my favorite all the time. But my solid favorite that always has been is probably our first song that we wrote together called "Oh Death and All."
Oh, nice. And what is it about that, would you say, that you liked performing so much?
It's just super fun. It's the one song that we have that we actually carried over from our first band that we played together. Mm-hmm. And it came from Kate and I just playing around, maybe, I don't remember if it started with a guitar riff or a bass riff, but it just, I don't know, watching that first song kind of grow into a song in different forms is pretty cool. So knowing it from the bass made it pretty easy to transition to the drums, and now I'm obsessed with playing it on the drums.
Nice. And how has your music kind of evolved from the first band you guys played together into now?
I definitely say that it's this project is a lot more bluesy, has a little more kind of twangy vibes to it. That one was a little bit more, I guess, garagey.
Yeah, it was kind of grungy.
Yeah.
This is more in the blues. We got more into the blues.
Yeah, basically. Got a little softer on some of them, but we also really love Riot Girl punk rock, and just a little bit of the heavier Nirvana, and then the OGs. So
nice.
Yeah, we're just kind of all over, and we've been really heavy, at least me for sure, listening to older Beatles stuff, and have been really inspired by their songwriting structures and the short, kind of poppy, fun rock songs.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about that maybe I've missed or?
No, those were really great questions.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss any major talking points. I try to be pretty well studied up before I get.
Yeah, I feel like we really hit all the big points.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Where can everybody find you on social media so they can get the album once it comes out and stay on top of your shows?
Yeah, we're on all the things. Instagram is Proud Miranda Band, and then everything else is just Proud Miranda. Facebook. We're on Spotify, Bandcamp,
Napster, Tidal,
all the things.
Nice.
Napster.
Awesome.
Just Napster.
Just
we get 0 streams ever.
Nice. I haven't heard the name Napster dropped in a really long time.
I know. When we were distributing it, it gave us the option to where do you want to distribute it to? And Napster was one of them, and I died.
I remember that, sneaker pimps on Napster in 6th grade. It's my first time ever downloading music. This is great. And I learned it was illegal.
I mean, I think we all learned that lesson pretty quickly.
Yeah, I kept doing it.
I don't think I got into it until after Napster technically shut down. I was more in the ShareBear, LiveWire.
Oh, I remember that, and LimeWire.
Yep, LimeWire.
And all those things. Yep. And then it got into torrents, and I was I don't understand this. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But I paid for everything, I swear.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. But I want to thank you so much for giving me time to sit down and chat with you. It was a great conversation.
Thanks so much for having us, Tom. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm glad we finally got an opportunity to make it work, and hopefully next time we're down in Florida, we'll actually get something set up and we can get you on a live session or jam session, whatever we're pushing at the time. And
that would be ideal.
Yeah, I would love it.
But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time, and thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you guys later.